The task is always the bottom part of the question. And the task will have some keywords. So, where are the keywords here? Let's read. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Keywords, agree or disagree. Agree, disagree. What type is this? Type 4. Agree or disagree essay. Next, we'll have a look at the first part of the question. The first part is called the topic. Task, topic. Let's have a look at the topic. Nowadays, most of the urgent problems can only be solved through international cooperation. Let's build vocabulary first. When we say nowadays, how do we paraphrase nowadays? Currently. Or in modern society. Nowadays, currently, in modern society. When we say the word urgent, I notice that many people, when they do their homework, you use your dictionary, isn't it? Sometimes the vocabulary is wrong. When we say urgent problem, they're together. Everybody say urgent. Problem. Urgent is paraphrased with the word critical or serious. What does this mean? In English, the word serious and critical has negative meaning. You cannot say, oh, that's a critical news. You can say that. But you can say critical benefit. Can you say that? Critical benefit? Negative, positive? You can't. Okay? When we say problem, how do you paraphrase problem? It starts with the letter C. What was that? Good. Concerns. Or you can also paraphrase the word problems with issues. When we talk about solving something, can only be solved. How do we paraphrase solved? Solve means to fix, isn't it? But fix is not formal vocabulary. What is another word for solve? It starts with A. D. Addressed. Or you can also use the word minimized. What does minimize mean? To make it smaller, isn't it? And finally, international cooperation. International. When we say international, what does it mean? Many countries. The paraphrase of international is global. Cooperation. What do you think could be cooperation? What does cooperation mean? Helping each other, isn't it? And we call that as unity. It means together. International cooperation, global unity. So now we have our issue. So what is this? Nowadays, the biggest problems in the world can only be solved through international cooperation. Do you agree or disagree? Okay? Let's have a look first at the agree opinion. Building ideas. Why do you think people would say, Or why would they agree? Yes, I agree. Why do they say that only the problems can be solved through international cooperation? What do you think could be? Number one, we could talk about the cost. What does that mean? Most problems of the world are very expensive to solve, isn't it? What's an example? Global warming. Have you heard of global warming? Everybody say global warming. If you don't know global warming, you cannot take the IELTS test. This is a very important vocabulary. So what does global warming mean? These days, the world is getting hotter. Not only that, what is typhoon in Korean? Taepung. Typhoon. The typhoons in the world are also getting stronger because of global warming. And you know the small island, Fiji, Vanuatu, these islands are slowly disappearing. Why? The water in the world is getting higher because the ice is melting. That's a big issue. It's very expensive to solve. So, if countries help each other, what can they do? Countries can contribute their finances, isn't it? What does contribute mean? Gather, add together. You think that Korea can solve all the problems in the world alone? It's impossible, isn't it? What is another critical issue in the world? Terrorism, isn't it? What about number two? What is another reason? This could be your first reason. John, I don't want to talk about cost. What could be another point? You could say that the problems in the world are international scope. International scope. What does scope mean? Limit or border. Scope means how much the problem is. For example, South Korea, limit is, where's the last part of South Korea? Jeju. And the north part, what is that line? There's a line, right? So North Korea, South Korea. There's a line. That's the limit. But most problems in the world have international scope, isn't it? What's the best example? Pollution. The pollution in China has international scope. It's not only limited in China. It goes many countries, isn't it? International scope. That's why countries need to help each other. For example, Chinese factories have a lot of smoke, isn't it? The problem is not only limited in China. It can go outside China. That means international scope. Everybody say scope. Border. An example is pollution, most especially air pollution. That's why countries need to help each other. What about the disagree? Why would many people disagree about helping each other? The most common reason is fairness, or this is also called justice. Why? Some problems are caused by only one country, isn't it? Why should countries spend a lot of money? An example would be the terrorists in Middle East, isn't it? They made this problem, so they need to fix this problem, not other countries. Second point, some people would say that this could be financial burden for poor countries. Burden. What does burden mean? Something very heavy. Everybody say burden. Financial burden. Burden means they need to pay. Think about poor countries like Africa or Southeast Asian countries. If they help about this, they need to give a lot of money. This is very heavy for their government. So this can mean financial burden. What's an example? Countries in Africa cannot spend for international help. They need to fix their problems first. They shouldn't help, isn't it? We have a saying, how can you help other people if you can't help yourself, isn't it? So poor countries can't do this. So these are some of the two ideas about it.